friends of the internet, I have returned. Yes, I have returned, and I have dragged Jensen with me.
Let me go. No, let me go.
You're coming with me. You're coming with me.
Come with me if you want to live. Yeah.
I don't care if you live or not.
Fair
Don't
point.
give me that crap. I'm gonna sit there and come with me. You want to live? It's like I was gonna try and save your life. I'm an American. You're a British. What the hell? What do you expect? Even when we're on the same
You to
side, we'll
bow
lie.
down to us. Look, I expect you to bow down and know your place, America.
Oh, we're gonna send some air support. Don't worry.
Yeah. Why is the sky getting dark? Yeah.
I mean, you constantly harass me about that, right? Constantly talk about our
Oh, yeah.
fracking incidents with the British.
Oh, so you finally admit it's true. Aha. Okay.
Have I ever? Let's be fair
You've
here.
always
Have
tried.
I? Have I ever
You have
denied it?
always. No, but you have always tried to suggest that we're worse.
No, I did not suggest you were worse. I just said that you do it too. That's all I said.
And to be fair, I've never actually denied that we do it as well. So it's one of them things.
The difference
Anyway.
is you do it intentionally.
Yes, that is true. We do. You do it by mistake. You don't even deliberately do it, and you still screw it up. But anyway,
That's the thing. We're not trying to do it when it happens. It's just like, oh well, oops. You know,
yep.
war is chaos. We practice it. Practice to be perfect, right?
Great, awesome, brilliant.
Ready for the first story of the day? We have stories. We have a lot. We had to tear stories down. Jensen came in with his carving knife. It was like, this story goes, this story goes. It's a bit of
just
a
trying to
overstatement.
help.
But we're going to start off with something people are going to be like, don't you normally do these stories at the end? No, we have plenty of stories at the end. Don't worry.
Oh yes.
Florida man hits wife with Christmas tree after being asked to help with dinner. Hey, honey, can you sit up there and put the
You got to admit that's kind of cool, though.
A Florida man allegedly hit his wife with a Christmas tree after she asked him to help with making dinner. Richard Atkinson, 52, lost his temper in the couple's Fruitland Park home. Fruitland Park. Now there's an app name.
Fits,
After he
doesn't it?
got into an argument with his wife after she asked for help. At some point, the woman reportedly put a spoon in the sink, accidentally splashing him. According to Fox Orlando, the report said that Atkinson began packing his things, went outside to his vehicle, then he returned because he had been drinking and told his wife to leave instead.
Not much you can say, really.
This is somebody. I've been drinking quite a bit. I don't want to get arrested. Let's kick the wife out. That'll do it. Let's see. We've had a fight with you got the woman all angry. You think you're gonna come back and get her to leave? When she tried to leave, deputies said Atkinson shoved her, picked up a Christmas tree, and threw it at her. It hit her, but there was no report of injuries. He said he then blocked the front door to prevent her from leaving. Atkinson was arrested on felony charges, including false imprisonment, domestic battery. He was booked in a Lake County jail, all right, without incident. Records showed that he is held on $8,000 bond. Send him to the guys with the white lab coats, right? The tie in the back, because this guy is certifiable. I realize he may have been drunk. He was just spreading Christmas cheer. I don't think that's how you spread Christmas cheer, Mr. Markley.
It does open up a whole series of questions. By the way, check your DMs. Girardi sent me something to send to you.
Oh no! Okay. What did Girardi do?
I have no idea. But if it goes beep boop, be concerned. If it goes boom, stop being concerned. I've no idea. She asked me to send it to you, so I did. I didn't even look. This way, anything that happens is her fault. Is actually her fault. Whenever possible, blame someone else.
I'll have to read this later.
Okay. From Matt, what, you don't throw Christmas trees? You know what the Scots do? They call it tossing the caber. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
this caber toss. That's very true. That's very true. What I want to know is were the ornaments and everything on it? Was he tossed the tree at her?
What? Well, there'll be a story later about Christmas trees. I want to know if there was one of that in it, and you'll understand when it turns up.
They're trying to ban the sale, manufacture, possession, and purchase of assault weapons. It's an assault weapon ban. But it's a
Again?
very strict one. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
if they pass that, it'll just go to the Supreme Court and get thrown back out again, right? Because that's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? It's getting to the point where they're going to have a bad time if the Supreme Court overrules everything. They really are, and I think it's getting close to that. But that's a separate issue. I'm not going to talk about that at the moment. You ready for the next story? This is an update story. Man arrested for baseball bat attack on New York City sidewalk quickly released on bail. A man caught on camera brutally attacking a man with a baseball bat in Upper Manhattan is back on the streets after posting $7,500 bail, all right, less than a day after his arrest. $7,500 cash bail is really low. He can get that. He can get it like that, snapped John Jay College professor Michael Alcazar,
Yeah.
right, who is a former
Alcazar.
NYPD detective for 30 years. We caught him, we arrested him, we processed him, and they released him. It's just insanity. The New York Police Department says the attack happened around 8 a.m. on November 29th in Amsterdam Avenue in Hamilton Heights. Surveillance video shows the suspect, identified as Kareem Azizi, all right, wearing a black hoodie, pulling an orange baseball bat out of his pants and striking the 47-year-old man in the back of the head. The victim fell to the ground. The video shows the attacker standing over the victim and yelling at him. The victim suffered a laceration. Well, okay. For those who don't remember this story, this guy walked past the old man, right, to get behind him, and then pulled the baseball bat out of it, snuck up behind him and hit him, and I mean swings, hit him in the back of the head. To be honest, I'm surprised the guy isn't dead.
Fair.
I really am.
But I do have to point out, if you are going to hit someone with a baseball bat, always hit people from behind. It's actually the best way, because that way they don't even see you doing it. Make sure they can't dodge. Am I not supposed to be giving this advice? Oops.
That's not the kind of advice that most people give. The victim
No,
suffered
okay.
a laceration to his head as well as bruising. This guy must have a pretty damn hard head, right? The report of the incident said the victim also had blood on his face and head and swelling on the back of his head. I guarantee he had that. EMS took the victim to the hospital in stable condition. The NYPD arrested Azizi on Wednesday. He is charged with attempted assault. Why didn't you charge him with attempted murder?
Yes, that's a head
I'm
hit.
very serious about this because he obviously was trying to kill him. If you see the attack, right, and you can find the video, right? All you have to do is just look for baseball attack in the back of the head, right, and you can find the video. It's out there. It is brutal. I'm warning you now. It's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. All right. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office said that he requested that bail be set at $40,000 cash. The judge set the bail at $7,500 as he walked out of the court hours later after posting bail. Alcazar says while most judges consider a variety of factors when determining bail in New York, bail reform stipulates, now listen to this, they cannot consider a defendant's dangerous, a defendant dangerous or a threat or a threat they potentially pose to the community.
Ow. Yeah, it's not like that over here. That is that
then
and
it's got to
flight
be
risk
the
are the
most
two important
asinine
things.
comment you made. The whole purpose of the
Yes.
frickin' prison system is to remove threats to society. And this guy is a threat to society. Okay? A major threat to society.
How can you say that, Nomad? He's black. He's not a threat to society. They never do anything wrong. They're good boys. Don't forget that.
This was supposedly not premeditated. Just a little word exchange. He just happened to have a bat, said Alcazar. This is a dangerous person. You're carrying around a weapon like a bat, a knife, a gun. You're a bad guy. You should stay in jail until the judge sees fit to impose whatever time you're going to get. He's not wrong.
No. You'll probably
Right.
find he used the right words, i.e., he made leftist comments and therefore he was let out.
I'm sorry. Right? Mayor Adams and NYPD Commissioner Sewell have called for a dangerous clause to be added to the bail reform laws, giving judges more power to keep violent offenders behind bars and off the streets. But advocates argue prejudice and bias influences, all right, who is considered dangerous. We can't hold people in cages in modern day slavery until they wait for trial. It's not just. The system cannot work that way. Jason Goldman, the defense attorney for Kareem Azizi. All right, the court heard arguments on both sides and came to a decision. All right, yeah, and the wrong one. Okay, your client snuck up behind a guy to hit him in the back of the head. It was attempted murder. I don't know why they're not charging him with attempted murder. Okay,
Yeah,
because
as I said,
there
he
is
said the
no
right way.
there is nothing that as you see that if you ever watch the film, it's not that they exchanged words or anything else. The guy may have just said, "Have a nice day." You don't even see these guys interacting as he walks past this guy. All right, and he does. He walks past the guy and then pulls a bat out of the back of his head and then runs behind him to make sure that he can hit him on a full swing.
Yeah. It won't be long before you'll find that the police that arrest him are probably being done for racism. Just saying.
It's part of where our society is going, and this infestation comes from the left, and it comes from these people that are part of the deep state, and we'll talk about the deep state a little bit later. Oklahoma transgender student charged with assaulting a female high school classmates in the bathroom. What a surprise! A quote-unquote transgender student in Oklahoma was charged with assault after the student allegedly punched two female students in the girls' restrooms at a high school in late October, police reports show. According to the report filed on October 26th and obtained by Fox News Digital, the transgender student listed as student A entered the restroom, spoke to the female student. After some contentious words were exchanged, a fight broke out. The student victim, labeled as V on the redacted report, told the police that she was speaking with friends in the girls' bathroom when student A approached her with a question. After telling A that she didn't want to speak with her and why, A became angry and asked her if she wanted to fight him before hitting her in the face. The alleged assailant continued to hit and kick and pull student V. V told police the strength of A's punch left her unable to fight back. One friend reported they tried to help, but they were also struck in the face twice. A witness said that they worried about their friend because the assailant was a man. This is the problem. All you have to do is tell the transgender people, deal with it. Deal with the fact that if you're born a woman, go to the women's restroom. If you're born a man, go to the man's restroom. Well, I feel uncomfortable, so everyone else should feel uncomfortable, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I feel uncomfortable. Deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And don't give me this crap about all of a sudden they're feeling uncomfortable. They've been going to bathrooms and classrooms in elementary school, all right, for how long? Well, I just started feeling uncomfortable now. Bullshit.
Yep.
And if you are feeling uncomfortable, you know what you do? Get help. Get freaking mental help. This whole transgender shit is, look, you're mentally deranged. Okay?
Yep.
You have something. You have a mental health issue. All right. You're not. Oh, I'm a woman born in a man's body. No, you're a man. You're delusional.
Yeah.
Okay. You cannot accept reality. There's no difference than people who have psychotic episodes, not accepting reality, right? And a transgender, because that is the essence of not accepting reality, who you are.
Yep.
And this is not a sexual issue. Notice we're not talking at this. I'm not bringing this from a sexual perspective. This is a delusion.
Isn't it fun when you get people like that?
And look at the damage this guy did. He went into a high school freaking bathroom and started beating on the girls. Probably because they said, What are you doing here? You're a guy. Get out.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I tell you what, if you can't handle that, you're not going to be able to handle talking as a woman. I guarantee you, because the cattiness that they put up with, oh my God. You've heard them when women don't think that you're listening, right?
Oh, yeah.
When they think that there's no one else around to hear their conversations, what they get to be like. Women have. I don't know where this whole thing of, sugar and spice and everything nice, and that's what little girls are made of. No, that's not what they're made of.
Not anymore.
They're made of vitriol and hatred. That's what they seem to be made of, especially nowadays. Hi,
pretty
Sharardi.
much.
Hi, Sith. Hi, Oz. Hey, Chris. There's a lot more people here watching than I thought.
Oh, yeah. We
and
have
in
multiple
Oklahoma
witnesses.
Yet? You're lucky they didn't take you out and burn you. All right, you want a little truth of the matter.
Yeah.
It's just like this. Now, I'll be honest with you. Let's read the story first. Miami firefighter who allegedly punched handcuffed patient on camera, consider my actions of public education and this video a PSA. A Miami firefighter who said he had no regrets after a video captured him punching a handcuffed patient in October, who allegedly spat at him as he has lost his job pending an investigation, officials said. If he never knew the consequences of spitting in a grown man's face, then consider my actions public education and this a PSA, said what Robert Webster told the NBC Miami. Webster, who is lieutenant at the City Miami's Department of Fire Rescue, right, told the news outlet that he is not remorseful for attacking the handcuffed patient on October 15th in the emergency room of the Jackson Memorial Hospital. Webster could not be immediately reached by NBC for comment. All right, a representative from the Miami Department of Fire and Rescue responded to requests for comment. All right, Wednesday from NBC News about the alleged incident involving Webster with a statement about how a firefighter was relieved of duty pending an ongoing investigation. Okay, they should be giving him a medal. Okay? Oh, he's a wounded man. He's there for medical treatment. But he has the wherewithal to try and spit in a man's face?
No, hold it. No, man. Okay. He beat him in a hospital. I mean, can you actually think of anywhere better? Okay. The doctors are literally standing right next to him. Shut up, stop moaning, and accept your beating. Am I wrong?
No. I'll be honest with you. This guy is completely in the right. You have a scumbag spitting on him, and he beat him. All right? This guy attacked him. Whether he liked it or... Well, he's handcuffed. Well, guess what? If you want to attack somebody, don't do it with the handcuffs on. Okay? This guy had taken you to the hospital because you obviously were injured. You're also obviously restrained in a number of other ways because you've been a lunatic. Okay? I'm sorry. I don't have a problem with him hitting you. They should be giving this guy a medal. And this should be played as a PSA. You want to know the truth? This should be played as an education.
Things that happen to you if you upset the firefighters. Smack! Yeah, okay, that pretty much covers it.
Paid, completely qualified to teach.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't forget Chemical X. The little girl's vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's wrong. Can somebody tell me where he's wrong about this?
Hold up. Oz came up with a brilliant concept. Should have just carried a cattle prod. He's not wrong. That would have dealt with the situation. I know you've got a thing that you don't like tasers. But you got to admit, a cattle prod has got there's a certain something about it now, isn't there?
Yeah, but a cattle prod is not going to do what you really want here. Baseball bat might have helped.
Again, we're going back to that previous story.
Right. See, this guy wasn't trying to hide the fact that he had a baseball bat. If he carries a baseball bat coming into here, maybe this guy wouldn't have done that.
Fair
of course,
point.
If he's carrying a cattle prod, he might not have done it either. For those who don't know, okay, growing up on a farm, cattle prods are things that I'm very well acquainted with. And yes, I have been zapped with a cattle prod. Okay, no, it's not much fun.
Was it one of your brothers?
Yes.
I knew it. I knew it.
Isn't that how that always works?
Yes.
Well, part of it is also the, how bad can it be? Okay.
Let's see what happens if I use
it's
this.
It's a motivation device. I can see this now. I can see why the animals get a move on. Get along, get along with the doggy.
I like Girardi's subtlety here. Cow prods aren't that bad. You know what? Sure, cool. I completely agree. You go right ahead and have all the fun you want with the cattle prod. I choose not to, thank you. I don't like getting zapped. That's what I'm saying.
Have you been zapped before?
Not a cattle prod, but I've had enough electricity ripped through my body, and more than a few occasions, yes.
The worst.
And it's fun.
The one thing that almost killed me one time with electricity was there was a grounding problem at the house, and I didn't know it. And the washing machine, all right. This is the old style washing machines, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't grounded properly, right? And no, it wasn't the washing machine; it was a dryer. Yeah. And when I went to turn it on, it grabbed me, right? 110. 110 is bad, right? 220 is worse.
Yeah, we do 240. Keep talking.
Yeah. The thing about it is when it's AC, it can cause your muscles where you can't control them. And it's not just an instantaneous thing, so you have to concentrate to let go. And I've gotten grabbed before, and it's not any fun.
Actually, as you worked on a farm, you know about electric fences around the cattle. You know exactly how dangerous they're not, right?
Well, yeah.
They just sting them.
Those too.
A friend of mine decided to have a pee while he was in, basically in a field against the side of it. He saw this pole sticking up, so he thought he'd just pee on it. He didn't realise that was the pole connecting the electric fence. Just use your imagination.
Not a smart move.
That Oh no, it was absolutely hilarious for the rest of us. Him, no. Us, absolutely. We loved it.
Was that before or after you got your eardrums that were obviously pierced from the scream?
Oh, that added to the fun.
When the ringing stopped.
He screeched so loud that 2 fields away, crows were buggering off. It was brilliant.
Trust me, I'm not surprised. Right?
And he thought he'd just have a nice little pee, relieve a bit of tension. No, zap. Oh, that was glorious to watch.
We had electric fence around our
Mhm.
grove area, right?
Yeah.
And we had a dog. We called the dog Fluffy, and the dog was a
Ah.
mutt, but it had long
Mhm.
fur, right? And it wasn't
Yep.
a large dog. It was a bit larger than like a terrier, right? But not a
Okay.
big terrier, but a small terrier. It's a bit larger than that, but not much, right? It's a
Yeah.
beautiful dog. All right. Its fur, it was I felt bad for it in the summertime because that thing would shed like hell because it had to, but its fur
Yeah.
was nice and long and soft and everything, right? That's why we call the dog Fluffy, right? Well,
Makes
Fluffy
sense.
one day was in the grove, and it goes in and out of the grove when you have the wire fence there, because the cattle are inside, right? And it was coming over to us with its tail sticking way up in the air, right? And it hit that electric fence wire.
Ah.
After
I guess
that,
the dog
the
was
dog
unhappy. Yes.
would come up to the fence and then lay down and low crawl, all right, underneath the fence and come back up. I mean, it was amazing because the dog would then. I mean, obviously the dog got hurt. It yelped and it came to us. And, it was fine and everything. It didn't knock the dog out or anything, right? But that dog learned. I am not putting my tail up in the air. I'm getting as low as possible going underneath these wires. It did.
Yeah.
It looked like a low
I,
crawl.
I've actually seen you may find this entertaining. I've actually seen a cow lean against one of the fences where it was falling asleep, get shocked, run around completely berserk for about 5 minutes, go back and lean against the fence again for another shock. It was you're just sitting there like, why are you so stupid? Stop touching the. No, you know what? I'm just going to stand here and watch because this is funny. It's just that moment of move, run. Comes back to the same place. This is the thing. It's not. It went to a different section of fence. No, it came back to the same section where it just got zapped, and promptly leans against the fence again, and back to the mooing and the running.
Yeah, we had a cow.
Genius.
We had a cow. Basically, stick its head on the other side of the fence, trying to get to the grass on the other side of the fence. The whole grass was greener on the other side. Crap.
Oh yeah.
Get hit, right? And its reaction, instead of going backwards, was to jolt forward. Took the whole fence line out. It sucked, man. But I tell you what, once we put it back in and got all the cattle back in and everything, we and put the fence back up, he didn't go near that fence again.
Learning, yeah.
Non-binary
Anyway.
ex-Biden official Sam Brighton, right? This is the nuclear guy, the guy who charged.
Yeah.
Helped craft policy to hide student sex changes from parents. Sam Brighton, the non-binary ex-Energy Department nuclear waste official, facing major prison time because he was wandering through freaking airports stealing luggage.
Yep.
All right. Once helped a non-profit group craft a model school policy adopted by several states that tells schools to hide alleged gender identity or sexual orientation from unaffirming parents. This right there, every one of these people who put this in place should be fired.
Yes.
All right. This is the problem with what's been happening between 2017 and 2020. Britton was the head of advocacy and government affairs at Trevor Point, an LGBTQ group focused on youth suicide prevention, according to Britton's LinkedIn. Apparently not. Apparently its focus is to hide shit from the parents, to basically sexualize children. These people are degenerates, folks. I want you to understand that. They are trying to do things. This is a groomer. This guy is a groomer.
And this is why I said you should put this story in.
While parents
I
and
agree with
guardians
you,
need to be
Archie.
informed and actively involved in decisions regarding students' welfare, the school's mental health professionals should ensure that the parents' actions are in the best interest of the student. Hey, jackass, it's the other way around. The parents get to decide what's in the best interest of the student, not the school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from Shirati, homeschool. I completely agree. And from Oz, remember when they said they weren't coming for your kids? Mm-hmm.
They were lying then. They're lying now. They've always been lying.
Yeah.
All right. And this, of course, is published by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, the American School Counselors Association, and the National Association of School Psychologists. And you want this asshole, this is someone, he's got the best interest of your child in mind. Really? No, he was a pervert and a degenerate, and they sit up there and hired this pervert and degenerate.
Yeah.
This guy, because people know what he's like. And this degeneracy just continues, folks.
Yeah.
I have to thank Jensen for this one. And wherever Jensen found it, I don't know. United States Army launches investigation after photos surface of officers in uniform wearing dog bondage masks.
Now pull the picture up.
What a strange thing to come across first thing in the morning. Twitter has always been the Wild West of social media, and the content that comes with it never seems to be ending. This morning I caught a glimpse of something that I had to dig into. In a bizarre tweet that has made its rounds in the military and veteran community, we come across a full bird colonel taking what appears to be an official military photograph in a leather dog mask. This guy is a brigade commander. Okay? He's not just a Pentagon, nobody. He's a brigade commander.
Yeah.
Colonel Donnelly, aka Pup Ravage, as he's known on social media, took to Twitter to officially announce his retirement from the Army after 3 decades. So you think of this as a retirement stunt, all right? An accomplishment and sacrifice that deserves respect. However, it appears he's overshadowed that accomplishment by donning a leather dog mask while wearing his historic Army green service uniform. An additional officer surfaced as well. By the way, I want people to understand something. When an officer retires, they're still in the military.
Oh yeah.
All right, people don't know this. When you retire, if you retire from the military, you are still in. Okay? And as officers, you're still in the military. You are now placed on permanent reserve status. They have several statuses of reserve, and you go into one of those categories.
Yep.
Okay? So he's still an Army officer. And then, all right, what do you have? You have the adjutant put on a dog mask in uniform. All right? And then you have this, where he takes a picture of him.
I don't know what to say here. By the way, Matt came up. Matt came up with a brilliant comment. I would have guessed he was a rear admiral. I don't think any other words are needed. Yeah.
The chief prosecutor for the Air Force, Don Christensen, points out that even a retired officer can be brought back to active duty and court-martialed or retired at a lower rank, which would effectively lower the pension payments, all right, they will receive in retirement. I'm just trying to warn you guys. Right? You think I'm joking with this stuff? I'm not. These people, this is what's happened to the military. These people think that they can wander around now because they are trying to basically pervert the military. And what's the result of that perversion the military is going to be is you're going to get officers that say, "Well, why should I listen to you? You're just a nobody."
Yep.
That's the result of this kind of tolerating this kind of shit. This don't ask, don't tell. This you know, we need to send you through sensitivity training. You're at the military, and you need to be more sensitive. We need to have a more sensitive and inclusive military that's understanding. All right. And so, what do you end up with? You end up with Bo Bergdahl. You end up with jackasses like Bradley Manning.
Yeah.
This is the result of the inclusive military. Just nuke us already.
He's not wrong.
All right. This is a story that I admit I found. I admit I presented. But Jensen made some interesting commentary. Patriot fans sues his idol Tom Brady after investing $30,000 in FTX. A lifelong New England Patriots fan who idolized Tom Brady invested nearly his entire life savings in FTX after the future Hall of Fame quarterback touted the cryptocurrency exchange in commercials, according to a lawsuit. Michael Liveratos, a 56-year-old legal clerk from Connecticut, moved $30,000 in crypto into the now bankrupt firm founded by Sam Bankman-Fried, who was indicted on fraud charges this week. As a New England Patriots fan my entire life, you can imagine the influence that Tom Brady would have, Liveratos told the Washington Post. Okay, and of course, this is Tom Brady with the fraudster, all right, who was in charge of FTX. Now, please go on with your commentary, Mr. Jensen.
Certainly. Tom Brady, probably the greatest man. No, let's be completely blunt. He's a moron, all right? Yeah, he can throw a ball around. He can tell people how to throw a ball around, but don't take advice from people like him. No offense, but unless you know something different, which is quite possible, I don't think he's a financial advisor. Is he? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here. No? He is literally just an idiot that can throw around a leather egg. Yes, that's right. I'm not even calling it a bowl. It's an egg. Deal with it. Yeah, Tom Brady. Why do people think he's so special? He is just a person, just a man, nothing else. Stop treating him like he's something special. Because no offense to him, he's not. He's a nobody. Hate to say it, in 50 years, there's a good chance people won't even remember his name.
No, I disagree with you there.
Go on, then.
All right, okay. Hand egg, as you call it, is obviously the most popular sport in America. Has been for decades.
Yes.
Okay. Now, why is he considered? Why are people? First of all, I'm gonna come clean here. I can't stand Tom Brady, and I think he's a cheat. I think he's a cheater. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, I know the people who go back to the if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right?
Yeah.
But I would like to point out several things, right? After the whole spy scandal, people forget about this one. The whole spy scandal thing. Okay. Bill Belichick's teams have gone on the decline. And why? Because they took away all of his film footage. All right, where he had been secretly recording. Okay, the opponents. He had a lot of film footage of when they were doing practices and everything else. So sure, for a couple of years afterwards, there was no change, but it started to decline. Now, why is that? Well, the main reason is because that massive advantage they had gotten, all right, over time, okay, it's gonna go away. Why? Because new players, teams change, things like that. It isn't instantaneous though, right? And Tom Brady knew very well from watching those films, all right, that what they had was illegal. All right, so anybody who tells me that Tom Brady, oh no, I mean, he didn't know. No, he was fully aware of what they were looking at was something they shouldn't have been looking at. Okay, now I give him lots of kudos for a lot of things, right? But the thing is the media announced him as the Golden Boy. Okay, now, quite frankly, as soon as you announce anyone as the golden child or something like that, I'm already going, no. Okay? And I'm not trying to detract from his achievements on the field. Okay? Now, and believe it or not, his achievements on the field are pretty spectacular from an NFL perspective. Okay? I don't think. All right. What he did is he worked very well within a specific system. All right, and he had the talent and drive to make that system work, and that's important. Like I said, I'm not trying to detract from anything, right? But Tom Brady was not the best quarterback in the NFL. All right, and what I mean by that is, I should qualify that. You can say that he was the best quarterback, and to a point, I would agree with you. All right, but at the same time, he wasn't the most gifted athlete. Okay, he wasn't the best thrower of the football. Okay, and to be honest, his first Super Bowl should never have happened. Okay, his first Super Bowl was the only reason he was allowed to even go into the Super Bowl was the AFC Championship. We came up with something no one had ever heard of before: the tuck rule. Let's talk about it, right? All right? No one had ever heard of this before. It was a fumble. Okay? His mystique and legend. All right? Oh, Tom Brady has led them back. Oh, led them back to all these Super Bowls and everything else, and all these winning streaks, and it all relied upon the rest of the team as well. He had a hell of a team around him. I can't deny that, and you can't deny it either. But when you take him out of the system that works and put him in a regular system, he becomes quite. He's good because he doesn't take the big. He doesn't give you the big mistake most of the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, is he a good quarterback? Yeah. Would you want him on your team? Was he the best quarterback ever? No. Does he have the most championships? Yeah. Right. But then again, look at what he had around him. Okay. And then added to the fact, well, we have the Tuck rule put into place, the spy scandal. And don't forget it's snowing. Let's drive our snowblower and create a space so the kicker can kick the winning field goal out. Have you forgotten about that one, folks? They're cheaters.
I do have a
Okay,
question.
they're
for
called
you.
the Cheatriots for a reason.
I do have a question for you, though. You indicated that you do not consider him the best quarterback. In your opinion, who is?
The most pure quarterback that I ever saw was Joe Montana.
Okay, makes sense.
Joe Montana was the most accurate quarterback I've ever seen on the field. Bar none. Okay. Joe Montana, unlike Tom Brady has certain weaknesses. Okay, and what you have to understand is how to play against a team to beat Tom Brady. You have to understand how to force him into those weaknesses, right? There's two things that if you ever see Tom Brady and how the games are schemed for him that they do is he throws everything down the middle of the field. All right, now he can launch the ball. All quarterbacks have a big enough arm to where they can throw the ball down the field to an extent, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing he's terrible at, okay, is outs. He takes too much time, and if you're going to pick off Tom Brady, a lot of times it's because he threw an out and wasn't watching what was going on. He's terrible at out patterns in comparison to his other patterns. Specifically, his bread and butter during the Patriot years, all right, was that slant to the middle. And they did it with slot receivers and tight ends. Now, I realize that you know most people are probably like, okay, we're talking sports here, you got to be doing this. But he fed on that. So what you have to do is you have to take those away. Now, that's kind of hard to do when you have the best tight ends in the league. All right? He had two of the best tight ends ever to play the game. All right? On his team. And the one followed him to Tampa where he got his second Super Bowl. Or it's not a second Super Bowl, but it's like sixth Super Bowl. So, sorry. Sixth or seventh or something like that. Right? But when Gronkowski wasn't playing, and the other guy, I can't think of his name, he went to jail for murder and then died in jail. The guy was a murdering psychopath, right? When they were on the field, it was hard to stop them because they would get to the middle of the field, all right, so often, and they were big enough that unless you had a special, and I mean a real special linebacker, you had no one that could cover them, right? Because they were too big for the defensive backs, all right, to be able to bully out of the way, right? And Tom Brady used that, and I don't blame him for it. I'm not holding that against him per se. But if you took those away and you forced him to do out patterns, eventually he was going to throw a pick, right?
Okay.
That's just the way it was. Now, when he had Randy Moss is the fastest man on the freaking thing. As far as this cryptocurrency thing goes, and this guy saying, "Hey, I'm suing Tom Brady because I lost my life savings," dude, that's not Tom Brady's fault. That's your own. You're a dumbass.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I want you to take a look at this picture. Not so much about Tom Brady. Look at this guy. Is this somebody that you think of as a billionaire? All right? Or is this guy some guy who goes, "Yeah, I'm a crook"?
Yeah.
All right? The guy was a crook. And basically he was a money lender. Dan Marino would never rip him off. Dan Marino is a whole different ball of wax, all right? I don't mind Dan Marino, though. Dan Marino was
someone's a Dolphins fan.
Well,
so I'm saying.
It's unfortunate the way football has become. It looks like
hold on. Yeah. That is so accurate. You look at that face, and it's like Yeah, we know exactly what you're selling, pal. Wow.
I will say one more thing about Tom Brady because like I said, I call him the Cheatriots for a reason. Right. Tom Brady's. We know Tom Brady's juicing. Okay, I'm putting it out there. You know, just putting it out there. Tom Brady's a juicer. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's my opinion, right? But I believe he has taken performance enhancement drugs like human growth hormones and things like that. I truly believe that he has. All right, he spends a lot of time overseas, a lot of time overseas, right? And
From hold up, from Matt, my point about liking dolphins is like, no, I just like Ace Ventura. That's actually fair. Ace Ventura 1, awesome. Ace Ventura 2, not so good. To put it bluntly.
well, you're trying to some of those movies back in those days. All right, first of all, they weren't. He's a much better actor than people give him credit for. But as far as a comedian and things go, I'll be honest with you. He wasn't what he wasn't my cup of tea. Let me put it that
Fair.
way. Right. Jim Carrey just was never. He was okay. Right. I mean, some of the stuff is funny. Ace Ventura was okay. Right. As a one-off, should have been left that way. Right. What he tried to do was he tried to recreate Peter Sellers' Pink Panther, right?
Yeah.
And the problem that Carrey never understood about the Pink Panther, right, in the Pink Panther series that everyone enjoys, is yes, Peter Sellers is a major player in it, right? But the other actors made those movies.
Oh yes.
Okay, it wasn't all about Peter Sellers. He was only a part of it. I'm not saying he was insignificant, all right? But in many ways Peter Sellers was basically the person that everyone else's story revolved around, right?
Yes.
If you ever watched the Pink Panther series, not the guy leading the charge, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And that's the comic genius of the man, right? It's one of the differences. The difference between Peter Sellers and some of these other characters. If you take even if you take a look at the what is that? How I Grew to Love the Bomb. Um, the
I have
movie
no
where
idea.
you got Sam Pickens riding the atomic weapon
Oh,
in the thing.
uh,
Doctor
yeah.
Strangelove. That's what it is.
That's it. Yep.
Right. Even Doctor Strangelove. Peter Sellers has a very small role in that movie. All the other actors play a much more significant role in that movie.
Yeah.
Right. And a much more memorable role. Right. Than what Peter Sellers does. And I'm not saying it was that Peter Sellers. Once again, I'm not saying Peter Sellers wasn't a good actor or things like that. No, no. On the contrary, he played the role as it needed to be played. He understood how to do those
Yes.
things. All right, you ready for the Twilight Zone?
Go, go for it.
I caught my dead husband soothing our baby on a baby monitor and posted it on TikTok. I caught my dead husband soothing our son on a baby monitor and posted it on TikTok. Let's watch this.
Hmm.
See all the little things here. This is her dead husband patting the little child on the head with the little fairy lights going on. While checking the baby monitor to ensure that her 11-month-old son Leo was sound asleep in his crib, mom of two, Whitney Allen, noticed an orb of light bouncing off the baby's head. She immediately believed that the beam was the spirit of her dead husband. My husband passed away on April 7th, 2022, when our second son Leo was just 3 months old, wrote Allen from Pennsylvania in closed captions on her viral TikTok video. Tonight, I felt like my husband was soothing our baby. In her paranormal post, which has amassed more than 8.1 million views, Ellen shared the baby monitor footage of little Leo's leg swinging back and forth while a palm-sized ray of light appears to caress the side of his face. Elsewhere in the clip, the same curious glow is seen moving in a circular motion around the back of the infant's head. Chills, wrote Allen on the screen of the text video. It literally looks like like a hand. No, it doesn't look like a hand. All right, patting it and stroking Leo's head. All right. In a separate snippet, the self-touted young widow explained that her late husband Ryan, a cop, died due to grave complications spurred by a bee sting. Killed by bee. All right. Allen revealed that months prior to Ryan's passing and Leo's birth, an ultrasound showed abnormalities in the fetus which doctors feared would severely impair the baby's health. Apparently not. While both she and Ryan were devastated by the daunting diagnosis, Allen said her husband, who was then in good health, because he hadn't been stung by the bee yet apparently, all right, constantly reassured her that her child would be perfect. After a series of prenatal tests, the lab's results confirmed that baby Leo was, in fact, fine. So, however, only a month after receiving the positive health update on their incoming son, Ryan suffered his would-be fatal sting. That's unfortunate. He had an anaphylactic shock to the prick, which sent him into a cardiac arrest and caused irreversible axonic brain injury. He was hospitalized under the COVID-19 isolation policy. All right, when Leo was born, that's that's just sick. You can't even see your kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an unfortunate thing for this one. Now, it's up to you to decide. You can watch the video. Is this Ryan? We'll put this back up here. Is this Ryan taking care of his son?
I'll be honest, it'd be good if it is. And whether you believe in ghosts or not, it's a feel-good story for the simple fact that what if it is true? And there's a place.
It's too dark now. There you go. It's a feel-good story, I'll give you that. It's Ms. Murder. Good morning, Ms. Murder. Good morning, Darkstar.
You notice how Miss Murder turns up when we're talking about ghosts? You notice this? Just saying, okay?
Personally, I think that this is some kind of weird reflection coming from the camera, to be honest. But that's just my... You can have your own opinions about things. It's a nice, feel-good story, ghost story. All right. Look, I mean...
From Oz. Or it's a demon admiring its new host. Not such a feel-good story now, is it? He has a reasonable point. You can't really disagree there.
I don't think that's quite... my chat. Always looking for the silver lining in life.
Yes.
New study links COVID-19 vaccination status to increased risk of car crashes. Science has a way, and this is from Jalopnik, right? science has a way of presenting the actual facts and connecting dots you likely didn't see ever connecting. For instance, who would have thought to find a link between people who decided to pass on getting vaccinated against COVID-19 and traffic accidents? A recent study published in the American Journal of Medicine, all right, shares the science behind such a link that actually exists. In a study, Canadian researchers examined over 11 million COVID-19 vaccination records of individuals over the age of 18 who would be licensed, all right, from different social, economic, and health backgrounds. Of those 11 million, 16%, of those 11 million, 16%, 1.6 or 7, 1,760,000, right, were not vaccinated. Researchers then looked into records and identified unvaccinated individuals who might have diseases linked to traffic risks like dementia, diabetes, sleep apnea, and alcohol abuse, and then looked into traffic accident side of things. Those situations included incidents that sent patients to the emergency room, day and time, ambulance involvement, and a triage severity score. With all those parameters considered, researchers were able to identify that individuals who hadn't gotten the COVID-19 vaccine were at greater risk of traffic accidents. Bullshit.
Wow.
Okay, bullshit. If you want to say that they're at higher risk of traffic accidents than other traffic accidents, I'm just putting this out here, right? What you do is say, okay, who's been vaccinated? How many were there? How many were not vaccinated? All right. What's the ratio of traffic accidents between the two? You don't have to include all these other factors which change things, right? Because that's what you're saying. Those who got vaccinated versus those who don't. Oh, but there's other factors involved. Go F yourselves.
Yep.
Okay? Well, we put all this fungibility thing so we can get the data that we wanted. That right there is massaging data to get the result that you wanted. That's what that is.
Oh, yeah.
It's BS.
Which makes it fake data. Yeah.
Right? And then they come back and go, well, you gotta look at all these other factors. All right. The link actually comes down to risks associated with decision making in relation to decisions concerning getting vaccinated and also to obey or not to obey traffic laws. Bullcrap. Okay. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm calling bullshit on this. Okay.
Yep.
All you have to do is let's see the numbers of this versus the numbers of this. Oh, that didn't give us the results we wanted. Okay, let's massage the results with some other factors so we can get what I want. This is how they come back and tell you dumbasses out there, all right, who believe in this shit, global warming. They do the same bullshit.
From Chris, studies probably sponsored in part by Pfizer. You know what? I believe it. I really would.
Of the unvaccinated, 72% were more likely to be involved in a severe car accident. 72% were more likely to be involved, huh? These numbers looked worse when the study pointed out that the percentage was similar to the relative risk associated with sleep apnea, but still not as bad as those who abused alcohol. Go F yourselves. This is what they're trying. Anything they can to try and keep pushing this bullshit. Okay?
Yep.
And I'm going to be real blunt. Okay? YouTube can say what it wants about this. This is not COVID misinformation. Right? One of the leading doctors involved in this in America was Dr. Birx. She has admitted in her book that they know that the vaccination doesn't prevent the spread of the disease. And even knowing that, the CDC and the government kept pushing, the FDA kept pushing, saying this is to prevent the spread of the disease. That was their whole purpose for telling people to get vaccinated, to stop the spread. And they knew that it would do no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just putting it out there. Temperatures rising in the Soyuz crew not in danger. The temperature on the Soyuz capsule docked at the International Space Station has risen, but the crew are not in danger, the Russian Space Agency said Friday, as it assesses a leak. Roscosmos said a number of tests had been conducted following the discovery of a coolant leak on the Soyuz MS-22, and the temperature inside of the capsule had increased to 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. On Wednesday, the leak forced a last-minute postponement of a spacewalk by cosmonauts Sergei Prokopyev and Dmitry Petlin. The spacecraft is currently under evaluation to ensure it can ferry the two Russian cosmonauts and their American colleague, Frank Rubio, back to Earth. Oh, they can make it back to Earth. I don't think hitting the Earth is a problem.
Yep.
Safely might be an issue. All right, but they can hit the Earth. I have confidence in them in that regard. All right? I don't know about you, Jensen, but I have confidence that the Soviets, or excuse me, the Russians, all right, can bring the capsule back to the planet.
But I would say one thing, okay? Nobody knows how gravity works.
In a statement, Roscosmos said a slight change in temperature was not critical for the operation of the equipment and the comfort of the crew. All right, Sergei Kirilev, a former cosmonaut who heads the crew space flight programs for Roscosmos, said the leak may have been caused by a tiny meteorite striking the Soyuz. Or it could have been sabotage because one of your people drilled a hole intentionally into the coolant system.
Is it time for me to put on the tinfoil hat yet?
Yeah. Put it on.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this one's cool. Okay. The other reason this could actually exist is because it's well known how the Russians don't like the idea that the ISS exists and they actually want to have their own. Now, wouldn't it be an absolute shame if the shuttle that was sent up to the ISS by the Russians with this fault detonates and knocks the entire space station out of orbit, which crashes into the Earth, which will not be blamed on the Russians because it was an accident. I'm just wondering how much of an accident it actually is. Because, so the Russians lose a large amount of money. Who cares? The Europeans lose even more. So the Russians lose a ship. Who cares? Literally. And so the Russians lose some Russians. Again, who cares? They've got enough. But it will get rid of the ISS, and they hate the idea that that's there. And I will remind you that China already has its own version. Who knows if the Russians actually use that? Throwing an idea out.
I also think that when it comes to people being pissed off, like I said, it wasn't too long ago, right, before they actually discovered that there was intentional sabotage, what appears to be intentional sabotage, from little holes being drilled in these spacecraft in Russia. Okay, this is not a joke, folks. I'm not exaggerating this. All right, so yeah. I don't know if they ever arrested or found the person that was doing it, or arrested them, or anything else. I hadn't heard. Did
you? From Matt, thank God the crew's vaccinated. It's true. If they didn't have the COVID injections, who knows? They might crash. It's terrible to think, isn't it?
morning, Jacob. Okay. Dead boy pulled from rubble of latest Russian hit on the Ukraine. Emergency crews pulled the body of a toddler from the rubble of a pre-dawn search for survivors on Saturday of a Russian missile strike that tore through an apartment building in the central Ukraine city of. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that. That's right. The missile was one of what the Ukrainian authorities were 16 that eluded air defenses among 76 missiles fired on Friday in the latest Russian attack targeting Ukrainian energy infrastructure, part of the Moscow strategy to leave Ukrainian civilians and soldiers in the dark and cold this winter. Valentin Rezhenko, right, of the
Good luck with this one.
Dnipropetrovsk region, right?
That'll do.
Where the city is located. I mean, didn't that just keep getting worse?
They basically just grab some consonants and some vowels, throw it at a wall, and whatever sticks is what they call their cities. That's seriously.
Wrote on the Telegram social media app that rescuers retrieved the body of a 1.5-year-old boy from under the rubble of a house destroyed by a Russian rocket. In all, 4 people were killed in the strike, 13 injured, 4 of them children, authorities said. Right. Rushenko said the pounding from the Russian forces continued overnight, damaging power lines and houses in the cities and towns of Nikopol. All right, and that's all further I'm going to go with that. All right, which are across the river from the Russian-occupied and nuclear power plant. By Saturday morning,
yeah, I
Ukraine
know that
leadership.
One.
Okay, can you?
Yeah, I actually know that Zaporizhzhia. It's on the news all the bloody time. That's the only reason I know it.
I'd like to know how you get the Zapor, and tell me how ZHZHIA is Zisia.
Look, they like to spell things a little bit different. They have that right. Like I said, grab dictionary, throw at wall, whatever sticks. That's what we're naming the city.
By Saturday morning, Ukraine's leadership said that the Russian forces had fired more than a score of other missiles during the barrage a day earlier. He did not say how much of those might have been stopped by air defenses. Look, folks, I don't know what people think of, but the ability to knock down missiles is not an easy feat. Now, if they're short range missiles that are coming from the ground, to be honest, you can interdict those with things like the Iron Dome. Right. For those who don't know what the Iron Dome is, the Iron Dome is a system put together by the Israelis to stop the Katyusha rocket attacks coming from Lebanon. All right. And for the most part, it's worked. Now, some of the Katyusha and rocket attacks coming from the Gaza Strip have not been stopped. Right. Which leads you to the question of, well, why not? I don't know the answer to that. Right. It could be just the difference in the terrain between the two areas.
Yeah.
Could also be that the Katyusha rockets being fired by those in the Gaza Strip were put together by the Iranians with a modicum of intelligence. All right, and they were actually somewhat accurate in comparison to what they were firing.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. Right. But Israel's still getting hit with these missiles, which is why I said if you really want to fix the problem, just you want to fix the problem? Hama rules. Okay, it's a chapter in Thomas Friedman's book, From Beirut to Jerusalem. Read it. Right? Chapter, I think it's might be chapter 3. I don't remember exactly the chapter number. Hama rules. That's the name of the chapter. All right. This is another story that Jensen was determined to have. Architect of the American atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer,
Oppenheimer.
right, is finally
Hmm.
cleared 68 years after losing his security clearance amid accusations he was a communist. Cillian Murphy to play the genius in new biopic. The Biden administration on Friday reversed its 1954 decision to revoke the security clearance of J. Robert Oppenheimer, known as the father of the atomic bomb, months ahead of the release of a biopic starring Cillian Murphy as the physicist. The decision comes 8 years after the department declassified documents related to Cold War hearing for Oppenheimer, who was accused of having communist sympathies. The once celebrated physicist lost his security clearance following the 4-week closed-door hearing. Officials also alleged that Oppenheimer's wife and brother had both been communists, and he had contributed to the Communist Front organizations. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm said in a written order that since dissolved Atomic Energy Committee acted out of political motives when it revoked Oppenheimer's security clearance nearly 70 years ago. The Oppenheimer matter concerned a man who, not long before, had played an indispensable and singular role in the war effort, a man whose loyalty and love for country were never seriously questioned. Right? Granholm has said in a written order. More troubling, historical evidence suggests that the decision to review Dr. Oppenheimer's clearance had less to do with a bona fide concern for the security of the restricted data and more to do with the desire on the part of political leadership of the AEC to discredit Dr. Oppenheimer in public debates over nuclear weapons policy, she said. Oppenheimer, a theoretical physicist, headed the top secret Los Alamos laboratory, which was established under President Franklin Roosevelt as the home of the Manhattan Project to build the first atomic bomb during World War II. He oversaw the first atomic bomb detonation in the New Mexico desert, codenamed Trinity, before the weapons were used in the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, Jensen. Let's hear your opinion here.
Okay. Well, for one, I'm not actually shocked that he had communist tendencies. Let's be completely honest. A lot of the scientists did. And, it kind of is what it is. The fact they took away his clearance is actually understandable. The fact they took it away for this long isn't. Okay, that part is, to put it bluntly, a bit bloody stupid. Okay. But taking it away originally while they was investigating him, I completely understand. Now, to be completely honest, without him, this world would be a massively different place. We would have had to have used a different sort of weapons to actually win World War II. And I mean, I'm not agreeing with his use of nuclear weapons, but I am agreeing with he used what he had to use. So, yes, people died. But guess what? I actually think more people would have died if he hadn't used them when the Allies tried to invade Japan. And it would have gone, to put it bluntly, horribly, horribly wrong. It would have been an absolute massacre. And funny enough, I actually say that as it would be actually a massacre on the Allied side more than on the Japanese side. What do you think?
Let's go on with the story. Because I will give you what I think as soon as I finish this. A few months later, the genius at the center of the operation began his long fall from grace. It started with his own second thoughts. Mr. President, I feel I have blood on my hands, Oppenheimer said to President Truman when they met in the White House. He went on to attack Truman for using the tragedy of Hiroshima to accelerate the nuclear arms race rather than bring about world peace. All right. Following the war, Oppenheimer opposed nuclear proliferation and development of the hydrogen bomb, stances that Granholm suggested in her order led to the AEC to revoke his security clearance. All right, let's stop right there. That is an absolute bunch of bullshit. Okay? Oppenheimer wanted to be the one running the hydrogen bomb project. To come back and say, though, he was opposed to the development of it, all right, then why was he trying to sit up there and compete with it? Now, the other thing that this story doesn't seem to mention, and I'll go down a little further, okay? All right. And I don't see it here anywhere in the rest of this. Maybe I missed this, right? The other thing about this is they are not talking about his inclusion onto the project of communists, including Fuchs, all right, who frickin' gave atomic secrets to the Soviet Union, allowing them to build their own nuclear weapon. So don't come back and tell me what this guy. Oh no, he got railroaded. No, the guy was a dangerous nut job, and he needed to have his clearance revoked. I'm not trying to say that he wasn't brilliant, right? He was part of he put together a brilliant team. But as soon as the actions of that team had to be taken care of it, this guy starts whinging and crying. I feel I have blood on my hands. No shit, it's called war. What do you think? What do you think that you're going to come out of this clean? If that was your problem, then why did why did I just give you a rifle and send you out in the front lines? Do you think the people that have to sit up there and defend their lives are right out there on the front lines? Do you think that they don't sit up there and suffer from that very thing? You fucking weasel! Where you were sitting there safe in your nice little cozy freaking homes? I've never liked this SOB. All right. He always was a danger to the country. And yes, he was more about being a communist than he was about being an American. Don't tell me, all right, that this guy was a loyal American. He was not. He was a self-righteous, leftist, Marxist asshat. And what's more is he was bitter when it was pointed out that his team had people leaking our secrets to the Soviet Union. Now, it was done by a guy who was competing for the lion's share of the credit for the fusion bomb. All right, the fusion bomb, but and he was backstabbed by the guy. I'm not going to deny that, right? But that backstabbing was not just on its own. This guy was one of the people trying to go, don't drop the atomic bomb after we develop it. We could drop the atomic bomb off the coast and then they'll see we're serious and the Japanese will stop. Really they will. No understanding of what it took to win that war. This guy could not win the war. This is Does that give you my opinion of them?
Well, the thing I want to say to this, Nomad, is why stop holding back? Why don't you tell us how you really feel? It seems to me as though you've got something you want to say about this.
I realize that these guys are a bunch of leftists, right? Yeah. But they're the worst kind. This is what people don't understand about these people. These are the worst kind of leftists. They are people who believe they are better than every other person on the planet. Truly believe it. All right? They think of the actual people that are working, like the women that were sitting up there working in the labs in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, that were monitoring the gauges that were actually running the centrifuges, all right, for the uranium-235, right? Mm-hmm. He thought of them as ants.
Yeah.
They could be stepped on if necessary. That's what he thought of regular people. Understand it.
Marx
Okay?
was a lovely guy, doesn't it?
This whole group that they had, they thought of themselves as smarter than everybody else, and therefore they were in a better position to understand how the world ran. And I'm not saying he wasn't a brilliant scientist, because he was. Okay? But it's the arrogance that comes with that, and the attitude of I'm smarter than you are. Therefore you should listen to me. When you might be smart intellectually in a certain area, but that does not make you a better human being, nor does it make you right when dealing with human interactions or dealing with the world. And Oppenheimer didn't care about security. This was one of the reasons why during World War II, during the development of it, we had to sit up there and put an army officer in charge of security, and he was constantly at war with this fucking jackass. Okay? And like I said, he didn't care that communists were freaking giving information to the Soviet Union. And you're going to freaking try and tell me, oh no, he was a loyal American. Bullshit. Trust the science, peasants. All right. Did you get your answer for what I think of Oppenheimer?
I did, but I'm still waiting to see. Do you actually think that it was actually worth dropping the 2 atomic bombs with the amount of loss that occurred because of that versus the amount of loss that I feel would have happened if you actually tried to take
Okay.
Japan?
Do I believe that we needed to drop the 2 atomic bombs and end the war? Yes, I do. Right? I have no uh, uh, no doubt in my mind.
Mhm.
Right? If I was put in that same situation, I'd press the button. All right?
Okay.
And I'm dead serious. Right? And for those
Yeah.
people who do not understand what you're dealing with, I want you to think of this one fact. Okay? Since World War II, okay, the United States has an award we give out called the Purple Heart. Okay, Jensen, you know what the
Oh, yeah.
Purple Heart's for?
Well, assuming it's basically it's the one they hand out if you get wounded while in service.
Yes, wounded or
Mhm.
sick while
Yes.
in a declared combat area.
Yes.
Okay, they were expecting on the invasion to take place that the United States military ordered so many Purple Hearts ahead of that expectation that we have since never had to order Purple Hearts.
Wow.
There's that many still available. All right, from the Korean conflict to the Vietnam War to everything else, we have not had to order, all right, any more Purple Hearts. That's how many casualties they were expecting when we tried to invade. If we were forced to invade the Japanese islands. For those who don't understand how bad this was, what kind of battle they were expecting, all you have to do, all right, is go and take a look at the battle for Okinawa.
Mhm.
And the Japanese had squirreled. This is something else people don't know. The Japanese had squirreled away over 1,000 kamikaze planes strictly laid on for the defense for the invasion. Did you know that?
Doesn't
1,000
surprise.
planes
Mhm.
that they were going to send out to stop an American invasion of the whole island. 1,000.
Yeah.
And you want to stand there Oh, these poor people and everything else. And I'll tell you something else it did. That was the only way to convince the emperor to actually get him to move.
Yep.
I'm not one of these people who hates Hirohito. Okay? I'm not one of these people who blames Hirohito. Okay? But the reality of the situation is, at any point in time, World War II could have ended from the Japanese standpoint the moment Hirohito stood up there and said, okay, the war is over, we're ending it now. At any point in time, he could have gone on out to the public and announced it, and that would have been the end of it.
Yeah. Absolute leader. He was.
Now,
His words were law.
He was mired in the Japanese culture of the time, just like all the people were, right? That was why he was reluctant to do it. But with the 2 atomic bombs, there was a realization of, oh my God, we're just going to be exterminated. What's best for my people is not to sit up there, is to sit up there and end this now before we're exterminated. That's when the realization was, okay, this has gone into extermination mode. Because that's what would have happened. All right?
Oh, yeah.
And for people who don't understand this, take a look at the battle for Iwo Jima and Okinawa specifically, and I think it's Okinawa specifically, where the Japanese were jumping off of cliffs, holding their babies, the Japanese women, because they thought that the Americans were what the Americans were going to do to them. They couldn't believe, the American photographers and everything couldn't believe what they were witnessing. They filmed this.
Yeah.
They filmed the Japanese in mass jumping off of cliffs to kill themselves. The women holding their babies in their arms, jumping off of cliffs.
From Matt, and now the Japanese make tentacle porn. Maybe those bombs messed up worse than we thought. That's actually a reasonable point. I mean, you know.
How do you know that the Japanese always loved octopus? All right, I have a feeling that tentacle porn was part of their culture long before we ever hit them with 2 atomic bombs.
Oh,
Okay?
this is a mental image. Mm.
I'm not wrong, am I?
No, but that is most definitely a mental image you just didn't need.
Just put it out there. And you had these people like freaking. If it wasn't for Oppenheimer, I hate to tell you this. If it wasn't for Oppenheimer, we never would have built. I mean, he was instrumental in building the atomic bomb. Yes, right. But you know what? He's also instrumental in making sure that the Soviets had one too. Okay?
Yeah.
That's my feelings on Oppenheimer. Loyal American, my ass. Just putting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kind of like this. Woman arrested in Bible thumping of Baptist pastor.
I love this.
A 64-year-old woman is facing assault charges after allegedly striking a pastor in the head with a Bible during a dispute inside a Baptist church in Tennessee. Cops busted Ina Garrett for the alleged Bible thumping of Reverend Leon Taylor, who heads the Mount Zion Baptist Church in Selmer, population 4,396, a city 100 miles east of Memphis. Garrett, pictured at the right, was scheduled to appear today in the General Sessions Court in connection with the misdemeanor criminal count. McNairy County Sheriff's Department deputies were summoned to the church in late May to deal with a lady that was unwanted. Taylor told investigators that Garrett had been voted out of the church. During the church confirmation, all right, Garrett took her Bible and threw it at Mr. Taylor, hitting him in the face. Taylor then took a swing at Garrett. All right, this is not much of a turn the other cheek kind of guy, is he? Right?
Yeah.
Right? But did not make contact. After a brief detour to a local hospital, Garrett was transported by the sheriff's deputies to the county jail, where she was charged with assault on the preacher, Mr. Taylor. In a TV interview, Garrett copped to striking Taylor in the head, He's got a demon in him, she explained. She's using the good book to beat the demon out of him.
Yeah.
Matt, boo. Okay? Boo, Matt. And I'm not talking about the safe and positive community. It's the quote above that one. Okay? Maybe she was right. The real prophets are always misunderstood.
It's true, they are.
Well, a prophet is never welcome in his hometown. And that's very true. And
Oh, yes.
that's because people... Okay, let's be perfectly frank here. People think they know other people when they're part of a community.
Mhm.
Okay? How well you know each other, though, there's expectations, and then there's privacy and private right, things like that. And for a preacher, they're like, well, I know this kid. This kid was so and so's son, right? But did you really know him or her? No, not really. But you think that you do because they grew up together. You may have laughed together, you might have had some interaction together, but how much did you really know them? Now, their good close friends may know them a little bit better if he had good close friends, or she had good close friends. All right. And what happens to them is they get imposed upon. Well, did you know that this person was like this before? Those are the kind of stupid questions you get, right?
Yeah.
But it's that sense of community also that it creates an interesting dynamic, right? In that it creates a comfort zone, right? Jensen will understand what I mean by this. In the military, you get to an area because you understand being a part of the culture and being within it. It's a comfortable life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In these small communities, it's very similar as well, especially when you're accepted as part of the community.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a very comfortable life. But these are people, all right, a prophet is someone who's stepping outside of that comfortable life. You got to understand that. And in all these areas, no matter what type of human society you're dealing with, there is corruption in every human society to one degree or another. Right? There is no perfect human society. We're human beings. There's no perfect human. Right? And when there was one, what happened to him? People killed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Right? We're getting ready to come on to Christmas. Jesus' birthday, the only perfect human that exists. And what did human beings do with him? They got rid of him. They killed him. They literally killed him. For what?
Yeah.
Speaking about God and the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
And calling on people to repent. All right? Their sinful ways. Well, people like their sinful ways.
Yeah.
Because the one thing about sin is sin makes things comfortable, and the other problem with sin is it's all about the individual. It's an establishment of the individual over the whole. Always has been. To one degree or another, it's all about the me, I when you talk about sinning. Right?
Yeah.
These are aspects of human life. These are aspects of human society. Nobody likes being called out for being a degenerate. For example, in the back in the days, a degenerate was just a guy that was sleeping around with multiple women. That guy was a degenerate. And he was said that he was a degenerate. But if he was part of a community, people would talk about it in whispers to each other, but they would never call him out in public doing it. Right?
Yeah.
But when you have someone like Christ come out, and he's calling them out specifically, you were sleeping with so and so, and you slept with so and so, people don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Especially if that person, for all of his misdeeds, has helped other people. Right? It's one thing to not expect perfection in yourself. It's even worse when you're excusing lack of perfection in your friends, and you're tolerating their proclivities. Let's say, let's leave it in that.
Yeah.
Right. Why? Because he was a friend of yours, or she's a friend of yours. Okay. Now, most of the stuff that we deal with are not serious or anything else, but there are plenty of people who know that Joe down the street, who's a friend of mine, cheats on his taxes, or cheats on his wife, or Donna cheats on her husband, right? Or does other things, right, behind the back,
Yeah.
right? We all have those little demons in him. And Leon, Leon, look. I don't know if what this woman's. I mean, the whole church voted her out. I didn't know you could vote people out. I didn't know that you could vote people off the island like that. I'm not a Baptist, never have been. Right? If you get voted out of the church, I mean, I thought the whole purpose of church and community was to, save souls, right? Get together in fellowship and then work on your demons.
Yeah.
I can't believe that she accused Mr. Hasnerath of bringing doom.
I know, it's disgusting, isn't it?
TC's. By the way, TC's a Brit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you unleash him on us? Why? Why did you unleash TC onto us poor innocent Americans?
Okay, all right. I'll get a run with this. The problem you've got is the two words there: poor and innocent when put next to American. Okay, just point that out. And to be honest, you all deserve a squirrel. From Oz, I knew a guy who started 2 churches and got voted out of both. One wonders what he did. Okay, just saying. I do wonder what he did to get himself voted out twice.
Once I can shared a video of the unusual festive scene that unfolded when a squirrel that entered their home tried to hide out in the Christmas tree. That's a squirrel invasion. Taylor Stadig, who posted the video in the Wildlife Encounter to Facebook, said that the squirrel apparently entered the family's Waxhaw home through a loose roof shingle, climbed through a sink pipe opening, and emerged in an upstairs bathroom. Standing said that the family dog, Dixie, then chased the squirrel through the house until it managed to hide out in the Christmas tree. Standing's videos show her attempts to get the squirrel out of a nearby window, while advice and commentary is offered by her kids, Colton 11 and Savannah 8 and Carolyn 8. Standing eventually used a dust mop to give the squirrel an extra push out the window and return it to the wild. So let's watch the video.
Well, before we go, we do have this hilarious video to show you.
Turn the sound out because we don't need that. I'm going to get to I want to see the squirrel. Right, I'm going to skip all these idiots. Now there's the squirrel. And now the panic sets in. Oh my God! Now, let's go back to this tree. Let's stop right there.
Mm-hmm.
This is not decorating a tree. Right? This is mobbing a tree. You almost can't even see that it's a tree.
Yes.
You can only see a few branches here. Otherwise, this thing is... I've never seen a tree this crowded with ornaments before. Is this normal for you guys?
No, it's absolutely almost the exact opposite for us lot. I actually thought it was normal for Americans to do stuff like that.
I have never seen this before in my entire life.
All right, here, I've got a theory. I've got a theory for you. Is it, I mean, I could be wrong, but it's quite possible the squirrel actually lived in that tree And when these people went out, nicked it, and put it in their house, the squirrel's
think it's
going, "Oi, where's my tree?"
I think the squirrel thinks these are just nuts. All these ornaments and everything are probably edible.
Yeah, nibble, nibble, zap. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Trying to convince the squirrel to go out a little bit of the window. No, get the.
Open window.
I must
full.
admit that I do have to admit that that's a pretty good tree to be hit like that with a freaking broom or mop
Yeah.
handle and not fall over. Okay, of
Yeah.
course you probably need that thing cemented into the ground to even freaking. I'm just pointing it out. I mean, that's unbelievable to me.
Outstanding.
We have some more.
Attack of the Killer Squirrels.
Bear steals Chick-fil-A order from a Florida man's front porch. It's another Christmas theme miracle here. Hello, Mr. Bear. Oh, look. It's DoorDash. Got the Santa Claus. Is this guy going to stop me? No. Anybody else on it? Let me check. All right. Time to grab the bag and go. All right. It's mine. See you later. No, that's pretty damn impressive. Grabs it by the thing. Okay, it's mine now. I'm walking away. What are you going to do? That's a pretty well-trained bear.
Yeah.
It didn't try to open the bag or rip the bag apart. No, it just put the bag at the top of the bag.
You know why, didn't you? He thought it was a picnic basket. I had to do that line. I just had to.
He was carried off with
sorry.
picnic basket, didn't it?
Yep.
Newman said
From
he
Doc-
could be heard on the video saying that the bag contained 30 nuggets and a large order of fries.
Not for long. Yeah.
All right, the bear left with the second bag untouched. He didn't want the salad though. Wanted nothing to do with the salad. No shit, really.
Bear's got taste. I'm okay with this.
I've had enough of the meth hippies. Those guys eat salad all the time. I need something a little more robust, like open the chicken nuggets.
He had the munchies. What can we say?
Oh, we're talking about munchies now? If we're talking about munchies, how about this one? Final story of the day. Hippo swallows 2-year-old whole, then spits him out alive. And of course, Luke Gentile, the author, a hungry hippo. He had to do it. He had to start the thing. He kind of admit I would do it too if I was writing this story. It would start the same way. Hungry hippo, right, is going viral after it swallowed a 2-year-old boy whole, then spit him up alive. The incident occurred in the Kansai district of Uganda while the young boy was playing outside his home. All right, according to the report cited by local police. The man saw the attack, all right, and immediately jumped into action, the report noted, identified as Crispas Bagonza. All right, he began throwing stones at the hippo. All right, police said. This guy's braver than you realize. Okay?
Yes. They are the most dangerous creature out there, and people seem to forget this.
Eventually, the rock startled the hippo to the point where it regurgitated out the boy alive and fled to the nearby Lake Edward, where he's waiting for his next 2-year-old. He'll come back. He's going to be playing in the yard again. Look at those eyes! This hippo's looking for another snack.
Oh yeah.
This is not the eyes of a critter that's going, okay, you win this round. This is the guy who's like, you won this round. This is not like, okay, I give up and I'm going to go away.
I'm still hungry.
This is the first such incident where the hippo strayed out of the Lake Edward and attacked a young child. All right. In a related video, why hippos have the deadliest poops in the world. I'm not going to do that one.
No.
No. We want to remind all residents of the Katwe Kataptoro Town Council, which is located within Queen Elizabeth National Park, to remain vigilant and always alert park rangers, about the animals that have strayed into their neighborhoods. After he was freed from the belly of the beast, the child was rushed to the local hospital. The boy received treatment for minor injuries and was vaccinated for rabies. That's gotta suck. Okay.
Oh, God. I was just looking at the weight of these hippos. You know, that's actually about reasonable. That's what's terrifying.
Yeah, hippos weigh between 2,800 to 7,000 pounds, and they kill roughly 500 people a year. Yes, they hippos are dangerous, right? They're
Yes.
for one thing is hippos are territorial. Most people don't know this. Hippos look. I mean, you see it. You see it looking there. You see it standing there, and you look at that thing going, "What the hell is that tub of lard doing?" Okay,
Mm,
this is a mistake,
yeah.
right? That tub of lard, okay, is faster on land than a gator. All right?
And like it said there, with a bite 3 times stronger than that of a lion. And let's be honest, okay? If a lion bites you, it is the last thing you will ever know.
and which is a good thing. Have you ever seen some
Yeah.
stupid circus actor sticking his head in a hippo's mouth? No. You want to know why?
Because it happened about twice and they realized, let's go for a lion. It's probably safer. Which
You
says
see
so very much.
morons sticking their heads in gator mouths. You see morons sticking their heads in lions' mouth. You ain't never seen no one stick their head in a hippo's mouth before, have you? You've
True.
even seen them stick
But-
dumbasses will stick their heads in the mouths of freaking elephants, but nobody does it with
Yeah.
a hippo.
I
There's a
wonder
reason
why.
for that.
Have you seen the teeth on those things? Wow.
And the males, those tusks they have, those aren't tusks, they're freaking samurai swords. It's a you see the tusk coming out of a hippo, right? And the first thing that I thought of was, how in the hell does the rest of the hippo's mouth hide that thing?
From
Right.
Oz, have you ever seen a hippo eat a watermelon? No. But something tells me it pretty much would be the same effect as them eating someone's head.
Yes.
Let's be fair.
Their bite strength is around 3 times greater than that of a lion. Trial, an ecologist and conservation scientist said. That's why they're so dangerous. They can cause substantial trauma to a human body through crushing force, whether through being bitten or being trampled.
Oh, okay. Let's break this down here, all right? You piss off a lion, you jump in a car, you're probably safe. You piss off a hippo, you jump in a car. That just means you're not moving. 'Cause it bites through the car and then eats you.
Well, it probably will eat you.
Literally.
I mean, they will ram cars, but for the most
Yeah.
part, hippos are smart because they know
No,
you've got to get out of the thing.
no, that is true. But I will point out one thing. You say it probably won't eat you. Remember, this story is about a hippo eating a child. Okay,
True.
just saying there, man. You know.
It makes you wonder why the hippo went out of the water to see this kid.
What did the kid do to piss off the hippo? That's what I want to know.
It is a question. What caused the hippo's attention to be on this child?
Yeah.
Now, hippos mostly kill because they're water creatures for the most part.
Yes.
Okay. They generally they look like docile creatures until you invade their territory, and they will defend their territory any way they so deem.
Yeah. I do
Even
have one thing.
crocodiles don't mess with hippos.
This
Okay?
is true. I would like to say one last thing about this hippo, which I think explains everything. Are you ready? Meth hippo. You heard about meth bears, you heard about meth squirrels. We've upgraded meth hippo. Screw you lot.
We still got the mess squirrels.
As shown. Yeah.
That was delineated earlier in the day. But yeah, these look, it's a hippo. It's bigger than you, it's faster than you, it's stronger than you,
Hmm.
and it can swim underwater and hold its breath for 20 minutes. Okay,
You can't. Yeah.
right? Hippos, in a lot of ways, are very similar in mentally, right? With orcas, you go in their environment,
Yeah.
all right. Hippos love pumpkins too. At the Seattle Zoo, they
Oh,
used to give them as treats to the hippos, usually after Halloween, when they got them cheap in the stores. Yeah, they
fair.
are not. Well, let me rephrase this. They are not thought to be carnivorous.
Yeah.
Okay, um, and they may not be. All right, but when one comes up and grabs a child as a
That's your
snack,
sign right there. Hmm.
right? That's the other thing is about hippos is you see them in zoos and they're always at a distance and things like that. You don't understand the size of a hippo until you get next to one,
Yeah.
right, up close.
Mhm.
Um, these things are huge, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that like all animals, there's always ones that can be friendly, right? Except for snakes.
Yes.
There's no such thing as a friendly snake, okay, or a lizard for that matter. Reptiles are not
Mm.
friendly. You don't have a friendly crocodile, even if you're an idiot who thinks that your crocodile is a support gator. Okay, like that idiot in Philadelphia. Let's go out to the park with the gator, and it's my support gator. That's another thing that's looking for a
Could have
child to
been
snack
worse.
on.
It could have been worse. Could you imagine putting a collar on a hippo's neck and taking that thing walkies? That would be absolutely fascinating. As you got your idiot at the park who thinks his Doberman is this bad and this dangerous, and the hippo just looks at it and the dog goes, "Yeah, not that one," and just leaves. And the owner's left standing there going, you win this one. Yeah.
Right now,
Hippo.
granted, hippos can't turn very very fast on land. All right, but they are
No.
very quick. All right, and they're more
Yes.
agile than you realize, and they're big. Okay,
Yep.
not a collar, a saddle.
That's a fair statement, actually. Yeah. Oh, wow. Could you imagine a
Well,
horde of hippos charging towards you with people riding on their back, waving axes and swords and whatnot?
now
That would be so cool and
I want to
terrifying.
point something else out about hippos. Okay,
Go on.
they're transportable, and what I mean by that is you can transplant them in the wild, and they can learn to live in other people's environments. Right?
Dude.
Hippos are not native to South America, but there's
Ah,
a
you're about to talk
colony
about
of
the
the
same thing.
things in
Yep.
Colombia right now, right?
Yep.
Where they're an invasive species. And nobody knows
Uh,
what to do with
how?
them because the Medellin cartel thought that we'd buy a few of them for, look, I've got all this money. People buy exotic animals. This guy bought a series of hippos. They are now in the wild breeding. It's a colony of like 100 of them.
Hmm.
All right, nobody knows what to do with them. I know what to do with them. Leave them alone.
Yep.
Right, that's what you do.
That will deal with crime. That will deal with all the crime in Colombia right there.
Just leave them
You-
alone. All right, and hope that they don't spread. That's all you can do. Because these things can live in a lot of what other people would think of as very dangerous areas. Right. For example, I honestly think that if hippos got to the Amazon, the entire Amazon would be labeled with hippos. Would be littered with hippos.
Dude. No, no. Screw the Amazon. What I'm about to say is likely to get us in trouble, but I'm going to say it anyway. What you do is you breed them and you put them in the Rio Grande. Problem dealt with instantly. Okay? You will
You
not get
created
people.
another problem. And you have created a competitor to the wild hog problem the Texans have. I will admit
It
that.
will stop. No, come on. It will stop the wild hog problem because they'll eat them. let's be fair here. Almost everything tastes better with bacon. So, just saying.
I don't, I don't know. I don't don't know that's where you were necessarily going with that. It would stop. It would cut down on the illegals going across the border. I will agree with you there.
Yes.
Well, basically, what they do is they find out where the hippos were and go somewhere else along the river. The Rio Grande is a long. That's a long
Oh yeah.
borderline.
So you'll have to breed lots of hippos, hundreds and thousands of them. There you go.
I don't think we need them going up the. I don't think the New Mexicans would be very happy with the dang things either. But if you want to know where they really could live,
Oh
and
no.
really be successful, is the Mississippi. Those things would thrive in the Mississippi.
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing.
I'm just pointing that out there. So they could thrive in the Mississippi. Right?
Yeah.
Very, very easily. Right. And they could thrive very well probably into some of the areas in Florida as well. Now, I don't know how good
Yeah.
they deal in swamps, right? But Florida's warm enough for them that they won't have a problem in the wintertime. And most of the Mississippi is south of the Mason-Dixon line, the portion of it rather is. So they could probably survive in that. And they do survive. They do tolerate cold better than some other animals, right? But they can't survive freezing weather, right? They're not going to swim up and come into Nebraska because the first winter that happens in Nebraska, things go like, okay, no, I'm looping out of this area. I need to stick out here. But it would suck being, you're out there as a cat fisherman trying to catch some catfish in the Mississippi, and the hippo came up on the line. That would kind of suck.
Yeah, because now you pissed it off. Not a good plan.
The fact that you were in the area, you were pissed it off.
Fair point. Fair point. But let's
Now
be fair,
you just
okay?
antagonized it.
You just rammed a hook through its lip. How pissed off do you think that thing's going to be? And
And what is it like? They can open their jaws past 60, 80 degrees, something like that.
yeah, it can basically swallow a person without too much of an issue.
Oh yeah, as that 2-year-old found out. He's that 2-year-old hopefully was knocked unconscious, right? Because if he had to deal with the fact that, oh my God, I'm in a hippo, what the hell? That's going to traumatize that kid for the rest of his life.
See, you know what? They don't actually admit that the kid's name is Job. Just saying.
It could be, man. It could be a sign. Because I didn't think throwing a rock at a hippo was going to do much to it, to be honest.
Gets attention, which is not a good thing.
Exactly.
This is why we created 50 caliber rounds, because that is what you need to stop a hippo charging towards your ass.
Yeah, that's what you need to stop a rhino. That's what you need to stop a freaking hippo. That's what you need to stop an elephant. Even a giraffe probably needs a good sized round to try and take it down in one shot.
Yeah.
Right. And you wonder why the white man left.
We're not
It's a
stupid.
joke,
We saw
folks.
that. We
It's
went,
a
yeah.
joke.
For him, it was.
But no, I mean, I like hippos. I think they're a cool creature, right? I do recognize though that they are dangerous, right? And you have to be aware of them, right? They do well in captivity. This is one thing people don't know. But they're not tameable. Okay. There are certain animals that you can't tame, right? They may be individually they may seem to be compliant, but they're truly not tamed. Not like a dog or a cat, right? Or even a horse for that matter. Right? Yeah. And what I mean by taming is you and the animal may have an understanding on an individual level, but taming is when the animal has enough of an understanding not to munch on your friends. Okay.
Fair. I would like to point out, I still like my idea of a hippo cavalry, because that would be terrifying to see coming towards you.
Yeah, it would be, but you're not going to get enough of an understanding to ride a hippo. The hippo's like, no, man.
No, come on. All right. You got all these Antifa Muppets running around causing all sorts of trouble. You lob in half a dozen hippos and you watch these Antifa suddenly decide not to be in that area.
Well,
Okay? Just saying.
You make it like that anybody would want to be in that area. Once he starts charging.
We're in a win-win. We're in a win-win situation.
But hippos, like elephants, ravage gardens.
Yes.
They ravage farms, and once they locate one, they don't forget about where it's at. So they'll come back again and again and again. Now, with
You do realize you just
elephants, it
described
might take a couple years.
Yeah. You just described locust. Are you trying to suggest that a locust is just another word for a hippo? Is what you're telling me, right?
No, I'm not saying that at all. Locusts are
A
just a pest.
swarm. Yeah, you got to admit, a swarm of a million hippos flying past would be terrifying.
Hungry flying hippos. That would be devastating.
Yes.
If hippos ever learn to fly, life would suck for all of us, folks.
Be so cool though.
Well, can you imagine just how powerful something like that? Well, first of all, it's 7,000 pounds. Can you imagine
Yes.
something that's 7,000 pounds and able to fly with wings?
Yeah, they're called dragons. Okay.
Exactly. Instead of the lizard and the scales on the dragon, you put a hippo there with a hippo mouth, the head of a hippo on their dragon body.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
frightening, isn't it?
Yeah. That is nightmare fuel right there.
Think about how wide it can move its mouth open.
Yep.
It's almost like it's created to do this.
Horrifying, isn't it?
And there's some genetic scientists going, yeah, that's not a good idea. I wonder if I can.
How to make a chimera in one easy lesson. Ah.
But that's everything I've got for the day. Do you have anything else that you want to relate to the good folks, Jensen?
Yes, I would like to say something that Oz has put. And you thought pigeon crapping on your car was bad. He's not wrong. Okay? There is a lovely little poem that I find highly entertaining. If I had the wings of a sparrow, if I had the bum of a cow, I'd fly over dear old London, in my case, and crap on the people below. And at that point, I think we should just leave that mental image there of hippos flying over London, dropping hippo crap. After all, they did point out that apparently hippo crap is incredibly dangerous. You just chose not to do the story.
That was part of the story. I just chose not to go into that storyline. All right, folks. Thanks for coming. Hope you all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.